Hey, what is going on, you guys? My name is Rayge, and we are back finally with the last and final node here of the Cosmic section for Dark Dimension 6. So we are going to be running back with the exact same 5 characters from the previous nodes, which is Kestrel, Val, Kang the Conqueror, Ravager, Stitcher, and Photon. Now, before we get started here with the footage, I just wanted to take this moment to talk about the initial approach, because there is actually a little known hack, so to speak, if you get the timing right with Kang, where it can be a game changer in terms of the number of attacks it will take. Because you'll see, and I'll stop the footage later on and over the commentary so you can see, but there's gonna be a moment where this new wave does spawn, but Kang is the one that finished off the final character with his passive, and in doing so, Apocalypse does not get his immunity, and that allows me to actually ability block and control him. And that right there could be the difference between you adding another 2, 3, 4 attempts onto the node, which is why I wanted to talk about it at the start of this video, because it's something to be mindful of. But having said that, guys, we'll talk about it later on as we go through it. Let's get right now into gameplay. Absolutely love Photon's initial damage when she can get it off, just because of the charges. We're going to start things off by blinding that left side there, but also being mindful of the fact that there is an Omega Red with Lieutenant on the right side. So thankfully, because of the setup of how we prepped in the previous node, we do have all of Kang's abilities with his ultimate. Then we're going to use Val to follow up with the ability block. I would personally recommend targeting Omega Red because he's tankier, but by doing so, now we have the exposure on him. So whenever we do attack Omega Red, we're going to be getting charges back, additional energy for Val, and that's going to really be setting us up. But thankfully, you can see here, these guys are quite squishy, so just something to be mindful of. We want to aim for that left side of those characters. Doctor Strange, Heartless, Omega Red, they're all very, very prominent members of this wave. But remember what I talked about in the beginning. We want to be careful how we finish up this wave, because it is going to be prompting that interesting wave with both Apocalypse and as well as the Red Hulk. And that could be, honestly, a huge, huge difference maker in the number of attacks that we go through with this. So we'll go ahead. We're finishing off the damage dealers, like I said. Dr. Strange Heartless doing more. I love Kestrel's passive pings, and especially with the rework now because of the Pegasus team. She's an absolutely must-have for this team. So we go ahead. The ultimate there for not just the buffs that we get on our side, but as well being able to do some AoE damage. We're doing really, really good right now with the cooldowns, looking pretty strong. And we're constantly still just getting energy back for Val, which is huge, especially in this initial node here. So doing good so far. Obviously, Kang here is the one that needs the most work with him using his ultimate abilities. We got to get his energy back up. But yeah, we'll see pretty shortly here. The next wave is going to spawn, and you guys will see exactly what I'm talking about here. So Wong and Samurai should be the last two that ideally you want to leave, just because they're tankier. They don't deal that much damage, and it is nice in this wave initially that we can actually finish off all these guys before the next wave does spawn. So here we go, slowly using the basic abilities here. Like I said, we want to be saving these their energies as much as possible. And boom, I'm just gonna freeze the clip here because you can see what just happened. The passive from Kang finished off Silver Samurai, and boom, we get another go ahead here with Kang actually starting things off. But more importantly, because of what happened there, Apocalypse does not have his immunity, and we're up against Red Hulk with Agatha. So it's a very, very dangerous wave. But because of how that ended up, and it didn't take that much time to set up, I would highly urge and recommend you guys to do the same setup, because having Apocalypse with his immunities at the start of this wave could be the difference of adding, like I said, another 3-4 attacks, just because how devastating their abilities are. So almost without reason, I mean, the only one that does make sense to take down ASAP in this node is going to be both Red Hulk and Apocalypse. So we want to spare no time on them. Using Val's special there, we were able to successfully ability block both Red Hulk, Agatha, and Apocalypse. Basically anyone that's a threat to us, which is absolutely huge. But again, the two focus points are going to be those two, because if they get any of their abilities off, we're looking at some pretty devastating damage against our team, and that's why it was really fortunate for us to actually land that. Photon be able to provide some blinds there to slow the enemies down, give us a little bit more time, and thankfully we're very, very close for Kang to get his ultimate back up. It's going to be some absolutely devastating damage. And then not a big deal as well, because we have Red Hulk also ability blocked. We're okay in actually attacking him, even though he is building up charges. Same with Val having the ultimate there, being ready to go if needed. Highly recommend. I know we didn't have any of our allies down, but I knew that the clock was ticking with the number of ability blocks lasting, and given how powerful Val's ultimate is, it really does make sense, even if you don't have any fallen allies. And we're just continuing here, both of them continuing as well. Thankfully, landing that ability block on Red Hulk also ensured there was exposure, so we're constantly gaining the energy back for Val. So ideally, it would be a great rinse and repeat. Unfortunately, Kestrel did fall. Wasn't going according to my plan there, but I mean, both Apocalypse and Red Hulk were still about 50% HP, right? And you can see here Val getting the special back up now. This is huge for us to ability block and control more of these enemies to buy us more time, and as well as reapply those ability blocks. And that's kind of what you want to do with this, if you can land it right with how Apocalypse came to be. And now here's the deal breaker right here. Kang finally getting all of his energy back. He's going to be able to use his devastating ultimate, reduce the turn meter. It's darn shame we don't have Kestrel's passive pings, but it is what it is. At this point, it's been a very, very effective attempt so far. Just look at the damage that's been done. This is a wave that typically would take folks 3-4 attacks extra just to get through them, and we didn't even let them go yet, right? You can just see how we're cleaning up. Just some absolutely beautiful work on this node. Red Hulk Apocalypse goes down. This wave is essentially game over now, and now at this point we're just cleaning up, trying to get back energy, to bring back Kestrel. But a super amazing first attack. This is picture perfect in terms of what you want to be aiming for, and just because it could be so much of a headache if you have both those characters running this wave, and like I said, it's thanks to a little known hack with that passive from Kang that actually prevented Apocalypse. So that was definitely a game-changing strategy right there. Now we're just basically controlling and doing as much damage as we can. Thankfully, with Val's abilities too, we got both Omega Red and Taskmaster controlled, and they would be the pain points. But keep in mind too, our guys are getting weak now, and we're kind of seeing our team finally getting to that weakness point because of the good work that we've done. But also be mindful, some of these guys did not use their abilities, so definitely expecting some ugly attacks here to follow, just because we know them being controlled. They haven't used their ults and specials on us. Super awesome first attempt right there, right? And that's exactly what I'm talking about. The setup was beautiful. Now I'm gonna start things off. This is gonna be a really quick attempt, you'll see here, because like I said, the main problem of this one now is gonna be Morgan Le Fay, and there's not really much you can do about it. I tried multiple times just to see if I can mess around with the RNG, but you can try blinding your way through. We have Photon there, just try to soak up some damage. That dual combination of Doctor Strange with Morgan Le Fay, they just do so much damage together. So that's why always remember and be mindful of Val's cooldowns, right? If you're gonna use her abilities, make sure that you always have at least both her either one of her specials or both their abilities up, because you never want both of them down. Otherwise, we're gonna be making some really terrible progress going through it. So you'll see pretty quickly here how fast their abilities go off, right? I mean, we try to do our best. I kind of expected this because they didn't get their abilities off in the first attempt, and just look at that. Morgan Le Fay's special completely blows us away. A meaningful attempt. At least we were able to soak up some damage there. Now here we go, attack number 3. And again, I think playing this back now, I think I should have probably aimed for Morgan Le Fay and Doctor Strange Heartless first. But to be honest, Omega Red's another big one too, and I think he's actually the first one I actually finished off. But again, look at this. You have to let them use their abilities. They just do so much damage, and finally we get a chance now. I see that my team is weakened up, so why the heck not? Using the special there, I decide, if anyone's gonna go down first, Omega Red would be a really, really good target to aim for, just because he's got the ability blocks, and as well as the trauma that he can inflict on our team, and as well as some really good AoE. So we resume there. And this is what I love about Stitcher right now, even though he hasn't really done too much, to be honest, being that 5th character on the team. But, you know, when he has had his special to heal up, it's definitely been meaningful for sure. But just look at the havoc that this Darkhold team is doing against us, right? They just scale so well in the cosmic section here. So we go ahead. At least we saw an opportunity to use Val's ultimate, dealing some really good damage across the board, bringing back Kestro. But again, we're going to be constantly just focusing on Mega Red, thankfully finishing off Taskmaster as well on the side. And again, I don't think there's a really right or wrong way to play this wave, but I would, you know, always focus on making meaningful damage and attempts, right? And that's kind of what we're doing right now. I definitely think that I left these Darkhold members a little too long for my liking, but I saw that Omega Red Taskmaster was easier to clean up. In doing so, you can see that also spawned a Lady Deathstrike with a Merc Lieutenant, and that can be dangerous as well, because they both provide, you know, supportive buffs for the team. And just look how fast they can take us out, right? So that's why I'm glad I didn't use any of the abilities there, because I kind of knew with new enemies spawning, they get their cooldowns and their abilities on us. And again, it's just about being patient and making sure that you stick with your game plan, right? So thankfully, with a fresh start, we always get to at least survey who's weaker. That Scarlet Witch was looking pretty juicy there in that left corner, so we go ahead, we focus her because we can, and thankfully, you know, if we take her out before her special to heal up the team, that's obviously the ideal goal there. And I'm hesitant on using Val's abilities because, like I said, I never want to be in that situation where I'm starting the match with Val and you know, she doesn't have either her special or her ultimate to be used, and she's really just a target. So that's kind of why I'm doing it like that, right? You can see here, it doesn't really get us much, but I mean, I'm saving the energy and conserving that because we know that the ultimate's coming back up pretty soon here, and then we're setting up for a really meaningful attack pretty soon here. Definitely been a select fest for sure with these attacks, but we're getting to that point and you can just feel the tide shifting, especially with them using their abilities, right? You know, again, Morgan Le Fay special just completely blows us away, so we couldn't even get really a turn. So another dead wasted attempt. Hopefully you guys can see how devastating Morgan Le Fay is from these attempts. And here we go, another meaningful attempt here. So at this point, I think a good kind of reference point is whenever you do see Doctor Strange Heartless or Morgan Le Fay using their special and ultimate, it's a good time to like try and make a move, because otherwise you're basically just a sponge, right? So at that point, I do recognize that. I finally activate the special, preventing Morgan Le Fay from going, but as well, got left side. We also got the exposure on Morgan Le Fay. So yeah, I don't even know why. Something's happening with her passive where the ability block doesn't even last long. I must be misreading it or something, but yeah, you can see it doesn't last even like a turn or two on her, but it is what it is. At least we landed the exposure there. And now, you know, we're just waiting for their team to do their work and their damage on us. But at least now we can actually have the ultimate back to back with the special. So that was kind of like a good game plan there. And that's what I mean. When you have those combo attacks ready to go, you know, that can be really setting up for a meaningful attack and doing some really decent damage, right? We're also one turn away from Kang's ultimate, which I was super excited about. We were finally able to get up energy again here. So, and with him being able to clear the barrier on these characters, it can be absolutely huge. Photon finally having the special back as well. We're going to go ahead. We're going to use that to blind and just protect ourselves a bit. So looking pretty good. You know, we're managing the wave pretty decently now and getting across, especially now getting rid of some of their heavy damage dealers. Morgan Le Fay is definitely one of the biggest problems in this node, and once we get rid of her, the rest of this team is quite squishy and they don't really have a lot of support, but it's Morgan Le Fay that's kind of blowing us out of the water here. So again, another opportunity here with Val's special, and I'm recognizing, you know, taking a look at the ultimate here, you know, although it's quite a few turns away, it's a close situation where if we can take down Morgan Le Fay, that in itself is going to be the game plan and victory here. Super close. As you can see, I'm chancing it now. I'm thinking, oh no, do I have enough power? So we go ahead, we use Photon's ultimate to see if we can get through, and thankfully we do, and with the passive right there, boom. So that's a huge win. You're gonna feel like a huge sigh of relief taking down Morgan, because she was just such a linchpin to get through. So I mean, our team is down now, but it is what it is. At this point, we're just trying to get back energy again, and thankfully got that exposure on Deathstrike. So then I am gonna kind of building a couple more charges for Val for the next attempt. But we're setting up now for one more attack, which looks really good, especially now with Morgan Le Fay being taken care of. So here we go, the last and final attack here. So starting things off, this is kind of what I wanted to do last round, but I mean, at least now we can start it off actually with a bang with Kang, and we're looking really, really good. We have Photon here with the special as well, so being able to blind that right side, that way take away some damage dealers. I've been loving her, even though I didn't have her high stars in Dark Dimension 6. I mean, she still proved really invaluable, and then we're gonna do the same thing now with Val using the special control, that left side. Just the synergies of this team, absolutely beautiful work. Maybe my setup could have been better. Maybe if I targeted Morgan Le Fay from the get-go, but I just found that the positioning was quite terrible. And then you guys saw it, how easily we were able to get wiped from Doctor Strange, Heartless, and Morgan Le Fay. I definitely feel like they're like the main bottlenecks of this node outside of when the Apocalypse and Red Hulk spawning. So like I said, this could have definitely taken much longer if I didn't do the little hack there in the beginning with Apocalypse and Red Hulk. But yeah, it was a really, really good attack and node attempt. You know, the Cosmic section was super fun. I felt like it wasn't as much of a slugfest as Global, just because it was designed to have Apocalypse in mind. But this has been a really, really fun experience for the Cosmic session. So there you guys have it. I'm just gonna wrap things up here, but I am planning to do a reflections video for the Cosmic section, kind of similar to what I did for Global, and as well as kind of who I'm planning for in terms of the city characters that I'm planning to bring in. But yeah, Cosmic was super, super fun. These characters, just the dynamics, even though I had like a 5th extra with Ravager Stitcher, Photon, Val, Kang, and Kestra were just super fun to play with, and I really liked the progression made in Cosmic, but how fun it was to tackle some of these pain points in the Cosmic section. So as per usual, when I'm wrapping these up, guys, I do want to showcase for you where I stand right now in the leaderboards, and as well kind of how I'm doing right now. Especially keep in mind I'm free to play, so it's amazing. Every day that I'm making progress in Dark Dimension 6, it's becoming historic here, especially not many free to play players actually being on the leaderboard. So let me do a quick review here of the mission 8 here being the final node. A total of 7 attacks, and like I said, it was really that first attack that was super meaningful, as you can see, with the almost 164 million damage, and that right setup, being able to wipe out both Apocalypse and Red Hulk in the first attempt. Now we switch back here. Oops, that's Dark Dimension 2. And we go back to Dark Dimension 6 leaderboards, and just to capture it for you guys, so in case those of you that are curious, we are in the top 506 right now. So obviously this is gonna shift as we play the game further and further. I gotta, you know, still build up my city characters, but I definitely love keeping you guys posted. Thank you as always for joining me on this journey. It's been unbelievable. Thank you, and I'll catch you guys in the next Dark Dimension video.